How much is the real opportunity?
It's about
He
confidence.
played 10
He didn't have any
minutes.
of it.
What am I going to do in 10 minutes?
So you're saying 10 minutes isn't enough?
No, it's not.
You're entitled to more.
And last I checked, if I'm on the Olympic team previous to this, and I was the second leading scorer,
What's that
by
got
the
to do
way,
with it?
I'm
What's
telling
that
you.
got to do with this year?
Let's talk about
LeBron
it. See,
wasn't
but that's
there.
the difference.
Steph Curry wasn't
That's
there.
the difference. That's the difference with you. You only talk about what's going on right now.
LeBron
The reason
wasn't there.
The reason why I'm a top 5 player in the league is because what I've done. I don't just show up in the NBA. I don't just show up in the top 5.
So
That
all of a
doesn't happen.
sudden, LeBron James makes an appearance and you're irrelevant. What does that mean?
What do you mean,
What does
LeBron?
that mean? Irrelevant. All of a sudden, I step on the court, you're irrelevant again.
And why is that?
Because I'm better than you. What do you
That's not
mean?
what you wasn't
What are
better than me
talking
throughout the season.
Welcome to the Parley, a conference between opposing sides in a dispute. The premier debate arena. Here is how things work.
What's the word? Most valuable to winning. We got Jokic, we got Shaq.
Yep.
Let's get it, big dog.
Man, I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about Shaquille O'Neal, the Diesel. That's who we're talking about. We're talking about the proof being in the pudding with Shaquille O'Neal being on the team that won the NBA championship 3 straight years. Only been 3 other teams has done that. 2 other teams that have done that. Celtics and the Bulls. Shaq was on the team in 2001 that went undefeated in the Western Conference, lost 1 game in the playoffs, and the only reason why they lost that game was because they had 10 days off. And why is that? Because Shaquille O'Neal was chilling for those 9 days. You get back to them guys being back together. Shaquille O'Neal playing from the nail, playing on the box, playing underneath the basket, being as effective as he is around the rim, not only being effective as he is around the rim, having the triangle offense basically tailored around his game, because it was built for the big man, having it tailored around his game, he was the most effective big man that I had ever seen. Most effective. I haven't seen a big man more effective than Shaq. That doesn't mean just on the offensive end, but on the defensive end too, as a glass cleaner, as a rim protector, and as a defensive. When you're talking about the Diesel, oh man, we could do this all day. I'm down.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about value, you're talking about how much you contribute to winning across the board. And simply, there's just nobody like Joker. And literally, there's no one like Joker. So you're bringing up all these teams, 2001, when you had Kobe Bryant. You didn't say anything about the 90s when you had Penny Hardaway. You didn't say anything about Dwayne Wade with the Heat.
Right.
He always has somebody that was able to carry with him. And so I think when you talk about Joker, Joker doesn't need a triangle offense. He is the standalone offense. There's never been a big that's been able to score at an elite level on the efficiency that he's able to do from across the court, whether it's from the rim, from mid-range or from 3. There's never been a big that's been a passer, playmaker to the level of Joker, let alone another player outside of maybe LeBron and a few others.
Sure.
He's one of one in that mark. So then on top of that, as a rebounder defensively, he's one of the best we have seen ever. Defensive rebound percentage is always out the roof.
Sure.
Offensive rebounding, he's been one of the best we've ever seen as well. So when you have a player that literally doesn't have, when he's at his best, true holes offensively in his game, because he can create from the post better than almost anybody. Since we've been tracking post-ups, he's the most efficient post scorer in the league on the highest volume in the league. He can go over both shoulders, and then on top of that, you cannot double team him. And so you're gonna bring up, at some point in time, zone defense and Shaq breaking the rules and all that. You can't play zone versus Joker, and you know this, because the Miami Heat tried it in the NBA Finals, and they got cooked. In that same 2-3 zone they beat the Celtics with and everybody else. Literally with Joker, there's no defense you can put out there that's gonna stop him consistently, including last year when he had just the second 13 assists, 0 turnover game.
You got it,
in
you
NBA
got
history.
it.
Well, since we're on the subject of efficiency, Shaq led the league in efficiency. Shaq led the league in field goal percentage 5 straight years, right around the basket. And since you're on the subject of Kobe Bryant, let's not act like Kobe Bryant was Kobe Bryant from the door. Don't forget, Shaq was the star.
That's a
when
fact.
we're talking about
That's a fact.
getting with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was right out of high school. He had to turn into that. Shaq was already that. And in addition to him being already that, he got even better when he got Bryant, right? And he turned Bryant into what he turned him into. So when you get the triangle offense the way it is, when you get Shaq around the basket, not only when you get Shaq around the basket, being as effective as he is, he's also a willing passer. Shaq averaged almost 4 assists a game. With him doing that, now you got a guy who you can't double team. Okay, sure, he's not throwing the ball over his neck. Sure, he's not throwing the ball behind his back like you talk about, but he's still throwing no-look passes. Not only is he throwing no-look passes, he's still seeing guys being able to navigate the floor, unlike other big men. And on top of all of that, we got a guy in Shaq who can go to the free throw line and hit free throws when it matters the most. He showed that. I saw that in game 3 in the Western Conference Championship. I saw that against the New Jersey Nets in the finals in 2002. Shaq has absolutely gone to the free throw line and made free throws when they counted. Absolutely, he's done that.
Single game sample size for free throws for Shaquille O'Neal is so funny to me. Because you're juxtaposing him to Jokic. Jokic, you actually can't double, because I've seen Shaq double multiple times, and Shaq was never the passer playmaker at the post, at the nail, or anywhere on the court. And the other thing you don't mention is the fact that, the reason I bring up Kobe Bryant and Penny Hardaway and Dwayne Wade, because they were still all better than this version of Jamal Murray. The very best version of Jamal Murray is not those players.
Right.
And the fact that you have a player like Joker who can amplify Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, KCP, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, you name them, throw them out there, and they're going to be at the top of the league every single year. And there's a common denominator with all this. He's never played with another All-Star. Jamal Murray, MPJ go down. They win 48 games. They're like a +8, +9 when he's on the court the entire year. Averages 27, 14, and 8 by himself on like 66 true shooting. How are you able to do that without another All-Star player on the court? Because again, there is no phenomenon that's existed like Joker that contributes to winning like Joker. And then on top of that, the reason phenomenon, don't bring it up because your boy Kevin Durant got smoked out too. So the other part of this is the reason why Shaq can't hold a candle to him. Is because when it came down to a fourth quarter, you already know. You can't do nothing with Joker fourth quarter. Shaq, we've seen it. Fourth quarter, Kobe's the closer. Fourth quarter, Wade's the closer. Fourth quarter, Penny's the closer. Jokic is the closer because from mid-range, especially, you've seen it over Anthony Davis, you've seen it over LeBron James. Step back, over the head, soundboard shuffle, name it. I got a shot named after me.
Absolutely.
Any point in time in the game. Shaq, great player. I love him, one of the best ever.
Well, hold on one second. We got 4 minutes to do our thing. I'm going to just chat it up with you. You said he's the closer. I seen Murray close a lot of games for them.
Great
a lot of games.
But you know who's more efficient? Do you know who had more fourth quarter field goals last year?
Care.
More efficient last year. Well, you don't care. Even
so
let me argue with both of them. Go ahead and do it. So even though last year in the fourth quarter, did Jamal Murray finish top 3 or top 4 in clutch player of the year voting? No, he did not. He did not. You know who did? You know who did? Joker.
Clutch player of the year. You don't even like that award.
We said, what do you mean I don't like that award?
Chill.
Hold on.
Talk to your man.
Wait, am I arguing two people or one person? I'm trying to figure out how to work. Hold on, real quick.
Stay right here.
Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, sit and listen. The Rock's going to teach you something.
Please.
So here's the issue
I don't
with
want to
this.
smell what
Is
you're
you're talking about the fourth quarter, and you know for a fact. Tell me, go ahead and lie to me. Do you think Shaq's a better fourth quarter player than Joker is?
I saw Shaq in the fourth quarter against. You're asking me a question, and I'm going to answer it. I saw Shaq in the fourth quarter against the defensive player of the year, Dikembe Mutombo, dominate him throughout that series.
How old was Dikembe Mutombo?
When last I checked, he was the defensive player of the year.
How old was he?
He was 32 years old.
Same age as you.
He wasn't, because if he was the same age as me, he wouldn't have been playing. The point I'm making is that I saw him dominate the defensive player of the year. I also saw him dominate just about everybody in the NBA Finals.
Okay, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert.
Anthony Davis. We're also talking about the defensive player of the year. Not only are we
the
talking
best
about
player
the
he played against in NBA Finals is Rick Smith, is it not?
No, it's
the best center.
It's the defensive player of the year. Last I checked, Dikembe Mutombo is in the Hall of Fame.
Hold on,
he's in the Hall of Fame.
With that iteration, Dikembe Mutombo better than this year, than last year Bam, and then last year Anthony Davis.
Dikembe Mutombo?
Why are you not talking about last year Rudy Gobert?
He destroyed Rudy. What are you talking
lost,
about?
though. Talk about that.
Wait, hold on.
Talk about that.
Wait, how am I arguing two people? You're the host.
You brought Kevin Durant and you pointed to me while I was sitting with my legs
crossed. I knew the fix is up.
I want to stay right here.
When I was sitting with my legs crossed, you pointed to me.
The fix is up. Where's Ron? Dale's here. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. How in the world are you telling me everybody, including on the panel, Gilles Arena, everybody, Jeff T, NBA media writer, Rudy Gobert's a fraud? How is he getting baked every single game by Joker?
Okay, last I checked.
Hold on, that was the narrative.
Okay.
40 points, 13 assists for a center. Right. I'm putting you in a box.
No doubt.
Anywhere you want it.
Right.
And you saw it. We talked about it. We Googled it. I called you, FaceTimed you. Are you watching what's happening?
I did see it.
And you
100%.
said, yeah, that's crazy.
Yes, I did.
How can you be a 4-time DPOY and you can't do nothing with the best player in the world? But I know for a fact, Bam, Dikembe, whoever you want, Jokic and Powell.
Can we get back to the point here? And the point was, who would you rather build around? Who is the most effective? Yeah, who's more valuable to win? Shaq has shown that, because those crews that were built entirely around him, the Lakers, was built entirely around him.
No, they had Kobe Bryant.
Okay, once again, he was there before they got Kobe Bryant. They got Shaq.
They didn't win.
That's not the point, Swipa. They got
what was
Shaq
Kobe when
first. He was a high school player who we didn't know
when they went to the finals and won. What was Kobe? Was he an All-NBA level player?
When they went to, he was an All-NBA level player. Yes, he was, and so was Jamal Murray.
No, he wasn't.
100% he was. If I'm not mistaken, Jamal Murray in 2023. Jamal Murray in 2023 when he was playing against
regular season 20-6.
Well, okay, 20-6. Is that not an All NBA level player? Is that not an
So
all
wait,
NBA?
Hold up, get off me.
are you
Somebody
saying-
call AARP.
Wait, no.
Are you tripping?
Wait.
20 and 6? He wasn't even better than Brunson.
Let me
He
ask you a
wasn't better than
question. Let me
Box.
ask you a
He
question.
wasn't better than Morant. Any of them.
Hold on, Chill. Are you just saying that?
Why am I arguing both of y'all?
I'm asking you a
I wanna
question.
stay- I wanna stay right here.
Are you just saying?
Stay right there.
You keep bringing up Kobe Bryant, but Kobe wasn't Kobe when in '96
When
or
they-
whatever.
no, when they went to the finals,
won.
when they went to the
Right.
finals.
But even with Jamal Murray, without Jamal Murray, Jokic is not taking that team to the finals at all or winning.
But that's
so
the point.
don't say.
No,
You're minimizing him, and then in some aspect you're bigging him up.
Dell. I know you don't know anything about this because your boy, he need a step. But I'm saying in this instance, how in the world are you juxtaposing? You need Jamal Murray and you needed Kobe. Why y'all got me debating two people?
No, we
I
don't.
did not
It's just-
debate.
It's just
Did
you.
y'all
This
see
is what I
this?
told you.
Ron, where you at?
I told you he was going to
It's
say
just
this.
you and me. Right here. Stay right here.
Man, I want to know, did modern technology help or hurt NBA product in what we're watching today?
To me, this is like asking, did seatbelts make cars safer? Yes. Like, has medical technology improved? Of course. Technology has helped across society, and so obviously it would help with sports. And I think when you're talking about like had to improve the product, well, we have more access to NBA games than we ever had before. That's helped watchability. The fan experience is better. Even if you're going to the top of the top with VR headsets, instead of buying tickets and having to pay more to be there, you can actually pay for packages to be at home, get courtside tickets and everything. From technology and player health, from technology and how you approach managing injuries, managing fitness, managing your diet, nutrition, that's all a part of technology. Sure. Science and the advance of science is always critical to human evolution. And in this instance, for us to be able to make a better NBA product, we just needed things to help us to have a better user experience and to make sure people had better access to games. So across the board, millions of more people are watching basketball. Because again, you talked about this before. We didn't get a chance to watch all of Wilt's games. But now I can watch every game from LeBron, every game from Steph, every game from Kevin Durant. I can buy team package specific sports channels. That way I can only focus on what I want to see and not just the greater NBA as a whole. So from a product standpoint, the NBA is better than it's ever been because of technology.
Well, to your point, it should have done that, considering what travel is now, considering what medicine is now. It should have done all of that, only except it hasn't. Guys are playing less. You think about what's going on in today's game. Michael Finley in 2000, he averaged 40 minutes a game. Swipa, this is very much like a car. The idea isn't to just keep the car in the garage. The idea is to keep the car on the road. That's the idea. And if you drive the car less, that's how you're keeping it in the garage. No, I want to get this car on the road and get it for it to be the most effective as it could possibly be. Well, if I have modern medicine, where if a knee injury, which used to be a death sentence, is no longer that, then these guys should be playing more. I watched Dominique Wilkins in 1991 come back from Achilles tear, which was a career-ending injury, come back and average 30 a game. We got guys now sitting out an extra year because their Achilles has been torn. These guys should be back on the road. And in fact, if they're back on the road, you know what that tells me? That the product is better, because the best part of the product, which is the players, is on the floor more, which means the experience is better. Being in the arena, being with your family, absolutely taking in the experience as a whole. I don't want to sit these guys out. I want these guys to play, because if these guys play, that means more viewership, that means more money, that means more for the product, as opposed to what's going on now. We got load managing and all of this other stuff. I'm just not a fan of it. I think that it could have helped. I don't think it has as much.
So when you talk about player health, that's such a specific part of product improvement. But even if your argument wants to sit around player health, well, the reason why that's not a good argument in terms of technology not working, because players are playing more and also playing smarter than ever. Think about it. We used to have people smoking cigars and cigarettes before games or at halftime.
Sure.
We had coaches that weren't allowing players to drink water. Like, the best thing you were going to get is an orange slice at halftime. Now, Gatorade products.
Yep.
There's things that you can take, acids that help your body to process chemical better. Like, even just from sports psychology, most teams have a sports psychologist now to help them through the grit and grind of an 82-game season. And for many, a 16-game playoff run. So when you're having conversations about overall product improvement and technology, you have to include everything, not just player health, but also, and let's just get to Kawhi Leonard. I know what you're talking about. Kawhi Leonard, load managing, all that stuff.
I actually wasn't.
But Kawhi Leonard, for instance, a degenerative knee 2 decades ago would have been a death sentence for a player, as opposed to now, he just plays 68 games. But he plays 68 games because medicine is better. And now we know how to better approach player injury. That way we can manage these things from a long-term perspective. For instance, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he just had a calf injury. Think about what it could have did. 20 years ago, if he has a calf injury and nobody has a connection between calf injuries and possible Achilles tear,
Right.
he could have been forced out there, his career is over. Instead of saying, let's sit him down for the next 2 months and get him back 100% the next season because we're managing injuries better.
Only except that extends to 2 months to 3 months, and then 3 months. What that does is that weakens the product. Because if we're talking about the players, that's the product. You aren't coming to the game just for the experience of being in the arena. You actually want to see the game. When you bring your family to the game, you want to see the product. You want to see the players. Well, half the time, if these people aren't here, then what am I doing here? So as much money as I'm spending on tickets, as much money as I'm spending on packages. Well, if these guys are only playing 55, these guys are only playing 60 games, I don't want to invest $1,000. I don't want to invest $200 in a league pass if I'm only going to see Jayson Tatum 60 games out of the year. No, that's absolutely not what I'm going to do. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to put a product together where these guys can be on the floor more. Now, to your point, when you're talking about medicine, to your point, when you're talking about the product being overall better, these guys playing more, just so you know, last season, DeMar DeRozan led the league in points. Led the league in minutes. The year before that, it was Mikal Bridges. That number went down. And the year before that, it was Bridges again. And that number went down. These guys aren't playing as much as you say they are. The reason why they're not playing as much as you say they are, because they aren't made to. Even though the technology is there, they are weakening the game off the strength that they aren't made to. All of this stuff that's going on with them, with modern technology, there's no reason why these guys shouldn't be on the floor and the product shouldn't be on the floor more.
Is it time for y'all to go back and forth with that thing?
Yes, sir.
Before y'all go there. Back in the days, many players played 82 games. Is that because of the technology, or you think is the will of the players, or you think what it is?
Well, we just didn't have the same access to information. Like, for instance, somebody saying that playing 42 minutes a game for an 82 game sample size, that shows like more of a commitment to the game. Not for me. I just don't agree with that. I think even in the NFL, like players playing through knee injuries or partially torn ACLs. That doesn't make any sense. Because why would I want to hamper long-term success for short-term games?
That's what you signed up for, though. When you sign up to play football, when you sign up to play pro basketball, and it's the reason why you get paid the big bucks that you get paid because of stuff like this.
Yeah.
And the technology that we now have today where I can heal you up quicker. There's no reason why that you shouldn't be on the floor.
That's not what it means, though.
That's exactly what it means.
Just because you can heal up quicker doesn't mean that all injuries are going to heal up more quickly. The actual thing is, I have more information about your injury as a whole.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that I can force the healing process sooner. But what does happen is, now that I know, okay, this injury is not going to go away. This is going to take 3 months to heal. Now I can tell you, you're going to play 4 out of 7. You're going to play 5 out of 8. You're going to play 5 out of the next 11. And I'm going to help you manage that injury, manage that pain. And then that way we can get you to April and May ready to play 100%.
That's not what's going on, though. Like a lot of these guys, a lot of these teams, like Anthony Davis, for example.
Anthony Davis played 79 games last year.
He played 79 games last year. The year before that, he played much less than that.
He had real injuries.
Right, and he could have absolutely played
more. And then he played
more.
in the playoffs every game.
And he did play in the playoffs every game.
And he was
However,
great.
but the difference is...
You can't be back and forth, yo. It's like you go in when it works and when it doesn't. One. And two, for your aspect, how do you use modern technology or the new product of the game when it comes to all these young guys like retiring so soon? Is that because, are you just basing it on health or like social media? Is that a part of the product?
I think it's more social media more
retiring
than anything.
so soon?
Not necessarily retiring so
like
soon.
AJ Griffin, he just retired, and I would attest it to a pressure that has been put upon himself based on just everything the NBA comes with, and that goes against your point in terms of the product.
Well, you and me had this conversation, I think it was yesterday, and we talked about Adrian Griffin, the fact that I think he should have stayed in school. I don't think he was prepared for the NBA and what it was. Sure, this is a younger league, right? We got a lot of young guys, but the fact that I'm 20 years old, I'm 19 years old, and I can jump 50 inches off the floor, that doesn't mean I'm prepared mentally for the NBA or the NFL or anything like that. So I think going to school with what's going on in college now with the NIL, I think that that's going to help these guys mature more and make the product better, as opposed to getting right into the NBA at 18, 19 years old, which the majority of these guys are not prepared for that. It might look good on the surface,
but I think if you're focusing on player injury, that's one facet of product development and technology. But the reason, no, it's not. But the reason why is again, the game's more accessible than ever. That means information is more accessible than ever. That means players can learn quicker than ever. That means toddlers can learn about how to run a 4-5 pick and roll sooner than ever. High school kids, now I can actually get access to synergy. What's the best shot quality for me to start to do now? That way I get ready to college, I know what I'm supposed to do. Coaches, training is better. But that's all because of technology. The internet and the access to information is what's made the product better. Because players are more skilled now than they've ever been, in large part because of technology.
And the product would be much much better if these guys were more available, and that's more of the point than it was anything. Because again, what you just made the point about.
But who's not available though?
All of these
Jokic
guys.
plays a lot.
Right.
Giannis plays a lot unless he has a calf injury or something like that. Embiid got legitimate. You don't think Embiid got hurt last year?
I think that those things I think he came into the game broken. That's the problem with Joel Embiid. He already came into the game
So he
broken.
had legitimate injuries.
Well, even still, we have guys who've had legitimate injuries without the
LeBron
technology
James,
that we've
so for
had,
instance,
that we've had
LeBron
today,
James has
though.
the
That's the
longest.
difference.
Do you agree? Because this is going to kill your point, LeBron James fan. Do you think LeBron James has the longest peak in NBA history?
The longest peak? No, I don't, because I don't think he was playing at 2013. He's not playing today like he was playing in 2013.
He was an All-NBA player last year. What are you talking about?
What difference does that make? I watched Chris Webber score.
All right, so for instance,
Chris Webber went 20.
hold on. So LeBron says year 3 he's been All-NBA,
right.
And in year 22 he's All-NBA.
And that doesn't mean that
he's technology.
That doesn't mean that he's still playing.
Why didn't Kareem do that? Why didn't Kareem do that? Why didn't Kareem do that?
Kareem did play it till
Why
20 years.
did he not, from year 2 to 3 to year 22, to be an all-pro player?
We bring back good questions. Wish you luck with that in terms of product. This is amazing what y'all are doing, and both of y'all lost in my eyes. But 4 minutes is up. Is it?
Because you about to lie about LeBron.
I was not.
We got the legend, rest in peace, David Stern. We got new era Adam Silver, best commissioner.
I just think when you're talking about a league that was floundering and basically a business that was failing, you got a guy who was a lawyer who came in and cleaned it all up, and how much of a visionary he was in terms of how the league was. They had a drug problem. He instituted a drug policy. In the process of him instituting a drug policy, he also looked for stars. Looking for stars, he recognized that the league could be much better if we have people, if we have eyes on the league. That's how I'm gonna get stars. He implemented the draft lottery because you had teams tanking. He recognized that with the Houston Rockets when, Elvin Hayes was playing 12 minutes a game. All of a sudden at the end of the year, he's playing 35 minutes. Like, what's going on here? We already know what you guys are trying to do. So he implemented the lottery system where everybody who didn't make the playoffs had an opportunity to win the lottery. Also, this is the same guy who anchored television deals. David Stern was instrumental on the development of the NBA, which was a floundering business, and nobody wanted to touch it. And it was because of him that a lot of that stuff that was going on during that time got cleaned up, and he was the reason why it got cleaned up and made it what it is today.
David Stern, you say. It sounds like he is the commissioner of law and order. He sure did get it cleaned up. Make sure that you got your clean fits on, you guys. Make sure you bring suits to the game. I don't want to see all those baggy pants and tattoos and all that. It's obviously Adam Silver, and I'm going to start right here. There's nothing like the moment with Donald Sterling. There's nothing like that. That was the transcendent moment in sports. Remember, that day when everything happened, we found out what Donald Sterling was, all the racist allegations to say about Magic Johnson and other black players. Right. He put a hammer down on an owner in a way we had literally never seen before in sports when he banned him from the NBA forever.
Right. What year was Donald Sterling?
This is 2015. So,
2015.
yeah, about around 2015. So when all this stuff was happening, you got to remember, Adam Silver is the one that helped usher the league to where it is now. Player development, player representation, even the burgeoning, all the stuff you see with clutch sports and everything, that's a part of his administration. He wanted to give the players as much access to the NBA, to the equity as much as possible. And when you think about him as juxtaposing to David Stern was more so a great owner for the white collar corporate industries, because he made sure that the things that they cared about in terms of visual representation and then having the personalities kind of be underguarded as opposed to the shield of the NBA, he did that. Whereas Adam Silver, he said, I still want to do that, but I also want to make sure that the players feel they have a right to speak at the table with the NFLP or NBA PA, with Chris Paul and others. So when you're talking about what happened with Adam Silver just helped to usher in a new era of representation. And again, Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting you brought that point up because, I watched David Stern in his league. He had a riot in his league. You have something like that going on. David Stern absolutely brought down the hammer. He suspended Ron Artest for the entire season. That never happened before. He actually had Roy Tarpley out for the season because he had out for his career because he had a drug problem. Michael Ray Richardson is out of the league because he's got a drug problem. This is what I'm doing around here. You're talking about law enforcement. Unfortunately, Swipa, we have to have some law and order. That has to happen. I'm sorry, we can't just have people running around amok. We can't have just people just running around doing whatever they want to do, because if we do that, then we're going to have chaos. We're going to have guys in a drug-infested league, which is why the league was what it was. We're going to have the league with no star players, which is why it was a floundering business and nobody cared about it. That's why David Stern comes in and he cleans all of this stuff up. He institutes a drug policy. So now when you see Michael Ray Richardson, who was a fantastic player, end up losing his career because he got a drug problem, if I want to get involved in that, I'm going to lose my career. No, I'm not going to do that. He sees Roy Tarpley do the same thing. If I'm going to do that, no, I don't think so, because I don't want to lose my career. And we also seen David Stern absolutely institute getting a TV deal with CBS, and in addition to CBS, with NBC. Sure, he had to clean up the game, but he absolutely did that. It was a pretty big deal what he was doing.
So let me know when you run for your ticket with the Republican National Convention, by the way. On the other end of this, when you talk about David Stern, you also have to remember, Malice in the Palace happened with him. The fan engagement and player engagement and the relationship between fan and players at the time was horrible. But Adam Silver was a part of collecting that and finishing and making it better. Remember, even Russell Westbrook bringing all the things to the table he brought to in terms of what fans were saying to him, things were happening. Adam Silver listened to that stuff, and they outright banned fans from stadiums, and not to provoke it to get any worse than what it was. Even Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith going into having big old brawls and big old fights, that stuff doesn't really happen anymore. But a lot of that is just because the entire agency around the NBA has changed. And so when I think about all the great things that Adam Silver has done, has he been perfect? No, I think you can say player empowerment has gone too far, but I think that's the thing. They wanted to swing the opposite direction of where it was under David Stern's administration, because people just didn't have enough ability to go after their own career in the same way they do right now. And so even when you think about Adam Silver and the TV deals, NBA TV. All the stuff you get with you having access to all the teams, being able to buy individual packages, $17 a month for the Denver Nuggets. All that stuff is because of Adam Silver.
Quick 4 minutes startup. So do you think the height of the NBA started with David Stern, or is going to continue to go higher because of Adam Silver?
Height?
The height of the NBA. So had you switched, put Adam in the Jordan era, put David in this era now, where do you think we go?
Well, I think he would actually even argue that David Stern or Adam Silver weren't the height of the NBA. It actually started with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan,
I'm talking
David Stern.
90s. I'm talking 90s with David Stern.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan height is David Stern, like in 96, 97, 98, that's David Stern.
Like
so
92,
that era, I think he was there in 92 as well.
92.
Yeah, the Dream Team, which is...
And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about...
So where do you think, if they switch, where would we be?
Well, I know he also suspended Michael Jordan, but that's a whole nother conversation.
No, he didn't. I've been on that already. No, he did not. You keep going with that narrative, and no, he did not suspend Jordan.
He was left for a year and a half in his prime, everybody. Don't nobody ask questions.
And again, we're talking about David Stern, who made the game global, right? He made the game a bigger deal than what it was.
Michael Jordan was gambling inside the locker room, by the way.
When sending the Dream Team over to Europe. When we talk about player empowerment, I mean, we had player empowerment.
With who?
We had player empowerment. Last I checked, Moses Malone was on a fourth place team. 100%. Moses Malone was on a fourth place team. He was a free agent and then goes to the Philadelphia 76ers and they win the NBA championship.
Moses Malone.
Not only Moses Malone.
When did that happen?
In 1982.
That's when this room was allowed in the 1980s.
Well, he was a free agent. He can get to go play for whoever he wanted to go play for. Also, player empowerment. Kevin McHale is another prime example of that. I don't know if you know this, Swipa, but Kevin McHale had an opportunity to go play for the Knicks. And Kevin McHale said, "No, I do not want to go play for the Knicks."
Didn't David Stern and the owners tell the Lakers that CP3 couldn't go there?
And do you understand why?
He acted as a de facto owner of the New Orleans Pelicans at the time.
And do you understand why?
I don't know. All I know is he engaged. They said they didn't want to do it. He got no way. Have you ever seen that happen before?
The reason why is because no league has ever owned a team, and they were the owner of the team.
Why were they in that position in the first place?
The reason why they were in that position.
David Stern's administration.
The reason why they were in that position.
But Adam Silver would never do anything like that.
He absolutely
would never engage with foul play like that.
Wait, one thing about both of these owners, they're putting the NBA first.
Yes, and Adam Silver would never let a team sink.
Why do you think the NBA is making more money than it ever has now?
Well, because of not just viewership, but because of what we have going on globally with the media. There's more access.
Who has made the game more global?
The players.
But Adam Silver is directly resprible for a lot of that as well.
What he did was he enhanced it. Adam Silver.
The game is more global still, but even prior to 2015, the game was global. But that's nothing. The top 5 players in the NBA, much to your chagrin, are all international. Every single one of them.
It is not.
That's never happened before.
Okay.
That's never happened before.
Right.
Adam Silver made this game more global by appealing to the global fan base, saying not only can you come play in this league, you can excel at the highest level in this league.
Well, that was going on
Quick
when
question: what NBA did the 5 best players now watch? Did they watch Adam Silver or they watch?
Yes, that's what they did. They watched that.
Okay, I watched Allen Iverson, and then he told Iverson to put a suit on. He told him to put a suit on.
Right. That's because that's part of it. Absolutely, that's part of it.
Why that's part of it?
Because that's your job.
Police.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. That's
Oh,
suit stuff
100%,
David
man.
Stern was doing. No, because you can't choose
any
how I
job,
look when I'm
in
playing.
any job that you have, there are job
I gotta wear a
requirements.
suit in my job.
In
to
any
do
job,
my-
if you want this job, you have to be a certain
That's
age.
why you got a polo on right now.
If you want this, job. If you want this job, you got to be a certain age. If you want this job, you have to have a certain level of
You gotta
education.
look a certain
That's
way?
part of it. Yes, that is part of having a job.
Man,
And the
you
reason
know who
why,
would never do that?
And here's the reason
Adam
why.
Silver.
Here's the reason why. The reason why is because what
You
you
wanna
just
wear
said.
J's to the conference?
Here's the reason why. What you just said. We had an image problem. The image of the NBA
It was too black, and you know that's what it was.
Okay,
and you know that's what it was.
But in addition to it being too black, they also had a drug problem, and we got to clean this up.
Bro, that was in the 80s and the
Even
90s.
still,
In the 2000s,
no.
they would have drug issues like that.
And Adam Silver made drug legal, so Swipa like
Yeah,
that.
he did. He legalized marijuana in small consumptions.
Marijuana. Can you believe that?
Swiper like that.
I'm not having a problem with that. I'm not-
What am I hearing right now?
This is what you hear. I don't got a problem with
Industrialized crime, chill.
No, I don't have a problem with marijuana being legal. I don't have a problem with that. You can go to any store and get a half ounce of chocolate. That's not the point. The point is what Adam.
That's your point right there. Let's all not get high. We out.
Alrighty.
Is Jayson Tatum a top 5 NBA player?
Yes, I do
No.
believe he's a top 5 player.
No. And I think this conversation around Tatum is so crazy to me is that you can't just admit that he didn't play well enough. He didn't play good enough. Every time Celtics fans say he should be in the top 5, points, rebounds, and assists, he led his team in the NBA
matters,
Finals.
Swipa.
Okay, 38%
Production
from the
matters.
field, great, cool. But we don't do that with any other player.
Yes, we do.
Luka Doncic
Yes,
led
we
the
do.
entire playoff in points, rebounds, and assists. Nobody brings it up.
Right.
And because he didn't play good.
And
he didn't play good.
and the
Just
reason-
accept that.
The reason why he didn't play good is because of what?
Who?
Luka. Why didn't he play good?
Talk about Tatum.
The reason,
Focus on your boy.
Let's focus on your boy. Let's focus on Jayson Tatum and what he produced.
Why didn't he win an MVP in any round? Help me understand that. How did Jaylen Brown win both of them?
That's a good ass question. Why didn't he? You're talking about again the guy who led the team in points,
Oh, gosh.
rebounds, you got and assists. That's never happened in NBA history. Never, ever happened in NBA history. Add that to the
So wait,
fact.
do you know who the other players are? Who are the other players? Magic, Jordan, Braun,
Right.
Jokic,
And guess
Bird,
what? And guess what?
and Tatum.
And guess what?
Why would I put him in that conversation?
The reason why you could, because he did that. He took a team to the
He's
NBA
the worst
championship.
player in the group by far.
What difference does it make if he's
so
the worst
why
player?
is he entitled to be a top 5 player because he won a championship?
The reason, first of all, you don't.
Did Chauncey Billups do that?
Here's the difference. Okay, what Chauncey Billups did, Chauncey Billups didn't. Chauncey Billups, they won the NBA championship. Jayson Tatum
And Finals
didn't.
MVP.
Jayson Tatum didn't just show up this year. You talking about a dude who, since you was talking about the Olympics, I don't know if you know this, Swipe, but tell everybody here who was first team All NBA on the Olympic team. Tell everybody.
So just Jayson
Tell
Tatum.
everybody
Was he
here
better
who
than
was first
LeBron?
team All NBA.
Was he better than
Yes,
LeBron?
he's the best small
in
forward
the
in the
Olympic
game.
game. Was he better than LeBron
He's
in
the
Olympics?
best small forward
What?
in the game.
So
Period.
just to be clear, help me understand. Everybody, audience, everybody tap in. How in the world are you the best player at your position, but Kevin Durant and LeBron James are smoking you in minutes and production on every single game?
Sounds like a coach thing. That's
A
what it
coach?
sounds like to me.
So wait a minute.
Sounds like
Because
a coach
I'm
thing
better.
to me.
Did Tatum,
Nope,
did Tatum make any?
absolutely it doesn't.
Did Tatum
Because
make
last
any
I
bucket?
checked-
Let me ask you a question.
I'm
Did
listening.
Tatum make a bucket
Yeah.
outside the restricted area in the Olympics?
You know why he didn't? Because I'm
here
only
we go.
playing 6 minutes a game.
Because his mental was
That's
messed
why.
up.
No, it has nothing
Because
to do
his
with my
mental was
mental.
messed up.
Nah,
Tell him to
we're
drive to
talking
the
about-
basket.
How about we're
Take
talking
a step
about,
back
we're
three.
talking about the
He's a
same
spot-up
guy. We're
three-point
talking about
shooter.
the same guy, Swipa, who 3 years ago, I'm not the player that
3
I was.
years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years
on
ago.
the Olympic team with Devin Booker.
LeBron James
on
was
the
top
Olympic
5 player
team
3 years ago.
with Bam Adebayo.
3 years ago.
On the Olympic team 3
years ago,
with Drew
Giannis won a
Holiday.
championship.
I'm a much better player today than I was 3
Is
years
he?
ago. Yet I couldn't get off the
3
bench.
years ago?
Yet I couldn't get
Hold
off the
on.
bench on this crew.
You're
Are you
comparing
kidding
him
me
to
right now?
LeBron and Kevin Durant.
Absolutely.
Why?
We're talking about
Wait,
an
hold
older.
on. But why were those players more productive, no matter the circumstance or situation, and they played versus everybody?
Yep.
And LeBron James, and you can sit here and lie to me if you want, LeBron James was the best player in the Olympics. Was he not? From start to finish, lie to me if you want. He won the MVP for a reason. And in the closing moments of all those games, who had the ball? LeBron. In the closing moments of all these games, who had the ball? Kevin Durant. So why would I give Jayson Tatum the due over these players when he's not out producing them. He's just not as good.
Did he
It's
even get an
okay.
opportunity to do it? Because he did it during the season.
He did.
How about that? He did it during the season. We're talking about it. We're talking about a guy.
He didn't get a real opportunity.
What's a real opportunity? How much is the real opportunity?
about
He played
confidence.
10
He didn't get any
minutes. What am I going to do in 10 minutes?
So you're saying 10 minutes isn't enough?
No,
you're
it's
entitled,
not.
You're entitled to more.
And last I checked, if I'm on the Olympic team previous to this, and I was the second leading scorer,
that
by
got
the
to do
way,
with it?
I'm
What's
telling
that
you.
got to do with this year?
Let's talk about
LeBron
it. See,
wasn't
Swipa, that's
there.
the
Steph
difference.
Curry wasn't
That's
there.
the difference. That's the difference with you. You only talk about what's going on right now.
LeBron
The
wasn't
reason
there.
The reason why I'm a top 5 player in the league is because what I've done. I don't just show up in the NBA. I don't just show up in the top 5.
So
That
all of a
doesn't happen.
sudden, LeBron James makes an appearance and you're irrelevant. What does that mean?
What do you mean,
What does
LeBron?
that mean? Irrelevant. All of a sudden, I step on the court, you're irrelevant again.
And why is that?
Because I'm better than you.
No,
What do
that's not
mean?
what.
What
You
are
wasn't better than me
talking
throughout the
about?
season.
Yes, I'm
You
sorry,
were
bro.
better than me
You
throughout
can
the
keep gassing
season.
on all you want.
You
because
were better than me
hold
throughout
on.
the season.
All I hear from Celtics fans is, well, he should have been higher in the MVP rate. He should win the MVP because he won 62 games. He wasn't better than the SGA, was he? Say it, lie.
That's a
He wasn't better than Embiid in 34
SGA
games.
wasn't better
He
than
wasn't
Embiid.
better than Giannis. SGA wasn't better than Jayson Tatum
Give me a
last year.
break. Me and
Come
you-
on,
me-
bro.
me and you have
All
already
right,
had
what are we
it.
doing?
Me and you have already
What
had
are we
this
doing?
conversation.
Let's end the segment.
Let's talk about
SGA
this.
wasn't better.
Let's talk about this
Was he
right
better
now.
than Jalen Brunson last year?
Was he better than Jalen Brunson?
In the regular
Yes.
season? All right. All right.
Yes,
cool.
he was better than Jalen
Right.
Brunson. Absolutely. Played more games, averaged more points, averaged more rebounds, averaged more assists. Yes, he
didn't.
was.
No, he didn't. You
To
just
be
lied.
fair,
No,
how
he didn't.
MVP voted in the NBA,
Huh?
back in the day, Jayson Tatum would have won MVP last
No,
year.
he wouldn't.
How they
What
voted
year?
100%.
What year? What year?
This year.
Tell me a year.
This
No,
year he
Tell me a
would've
year
won.
he would have won just because he had the most
Whichever-
wins.
This year.
What
Whichever year they picked the best winning team and the best record
Okay,
and the
so
best
Devin
player.
Booker should have won in 2021.
That's how they
Oh,
voted.
so just give MVPs away.
That's how they
Just
voted.
give them
That's how
away.
they voted.
Just give them away. Give me your money. Give me your money.
Steve
Just give it
Nash
away.
beat Kobe
Just
that
give it
way.
away. Since it has no value.
We ain't talking about Kobe Bryant.
Game.
We talking. Let's stick with Jayson Tatum and what you fail to realize, Swipa, you in particular, what you fail to realize is what this guy produces.
Cut.
Great. Congratulations.
The Parley. Powered by passion. Like, subscribe, share.